Good evening and welcome to the 39th Annual Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Chad Bush, and I have the proud honor of serving as the play-by-play announcer for Eastern Michigan football, basketball, and baseball on WEMU radio and also on Eagle All Access. On behalf of Eastern Michigan University, it's my privilege to welcome all of you to this annual celebration of EMU's most distinguished former letter winners. This year's induction class is remarkable, and the impact that they have on their sport in EMU athletics and also in the Mid-American Conference is significant. I'm very excited to be here tonight and celebrate the induction of 7 very worthy, exceptional individuals. The Athletic Hall of Fame has a very rich history, and in its 39 years, there have been a total of 251 inducted into the Hall of Fame. We're excited to have a number of our past inductees here tonight, so please help me welcome back these individuals who are in the Parade of Hall of Famers. For the class of 1993, Lori Bird, women's basketball. For the class of 1994, Doc Sims. For the class of 1997, Eugene Thomas, track. Also from the class of 1997, Earl Higgins, basketball. The class of 2000, men's golf coach Jim Nelson. Also from the class, he was a golfer, not a basketball player. Also from the class of 2000, men's basketball player Jack Bruzewitz. For the class of 2001, Angie Fielder, softball player. For the class of 2004, Mark Daly, track. From the class of 2004 as well, Jim Streeter, former Sports Information Director and former O-Strike Award recipient. For the class of 2005, athletic trainer Dr. Rozier. For the class of 2009, Gary Strickland, athletic trainer. For the class of 2011, Howard Booth, men's gymnastics and cheerleading. Also from the class of 2011, Hildred Lewis, football and track. For the class of 2012, Sharon Rose Schwartz, women's basketball. And lastly, from the class of 2013, men's swimming athlete Dennis Betts. Let's hear it for this amazing group. Before we continue with the celebration tonight, it's important to recognize some key contributors and also some special guests who are in attendance tonight. Please welcome EMU President Sue Martin. Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Heather Like. Vice President of Communications, Walter Kraft. Vice President and Secretary to the Board of Regents, Vicki Reum. And Interim Vice President for Advancement, Linda McGill. Thank you all for being here. Your support is sincerely appreciated. Next, I would like to introduce the leader of a very special group that is more passionate about EMU athletics than anyone I know. It's a former Hall of Fame recipient and the current E-Club president, Howard Booth.
Thank you, Chad. Welcome. The E-Club is proud to present the Hall of Fame and celebrate tonight's inductees. The E-Club is a chartered alumni chapter of the EMU Alumni Association comprised of former letter winners. We serve a distinct purpose to the university and to the EMU athletics by promoting and preserving the tradition, pride, and loyalty among all letter winners of the university. In addition to the Hall of Fame, we recognize outstanding academic achievements among current EMU student athletes through the annual Scholar Athlete Banquet, and we assist the athletic department in awarding varsity letter jackets to the first-time letter winners. The E-Club is invested in EMU, our student athletes, and our former letter winners. At this time, would the E-Club Board of Directors please stand and be recognized? On behalf of the E-Club and all former letter winners, I would like to congratulate our newest inductees. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Our next speaker is the Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Heather Like. Heather has been with EMU for just over a year, and in her short time, Heather has made a clear and significant difference in the Eastern Michigan Athletic Department. The EMU Eagles have compiled a list of great accomplishments, including a 3.145 overall grade point average for the winter 2014 semester, won 3 MAC championships, earned 24 individual MAC titles, received 64 All-MAC selections, and have had 41 academic All-MAC student athletes. Heather, we are thrilled to have you here, and we're excited about the direction you are taking EMU athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Athletic Director Heather Like.
Thank you, Chad. I love his voice. It is an honor to serve as the Director of Athletics and lead Eastern Michigan Athletic Department. And the best part of the job oftentimes is celebrating memorable events like this with all of you representing the pride and the tradition and the history of Eastern Michigan athletics. Thank you, Howard, and the E-Club board and all of its members for supporting the athletic department in such a loyal and dedicated way by every event that you participate in and that you show your attendance at, so we appreciate that. And thanks to Jessica from the Alumni Organization and Kelly Brennan from the President's Office for every detail that you see here tonight is representative of their work, so thank you. One of the things that I've enjoyed most since coming to Eastern Michigan is definitely meeting the people who have just so proud of the Block E and have enjoyed cheering on or wearing the green and white jerseys. And today we celebrate a class who represents the best of those jerseys. The 7 Hall of Fame members in the class of 2014 demonstrate characteristics that we emphasize to our student athletes every day. Number 1, discipline. For the countless hours that they spent running on the track, diving off the boards, tumbling in the gym, practicing on the court and in the field, while balancing their academics and graduating from Eastern Michigan. 2, leadership. Have you heard these leadership words before? Leaders aren't born, they're made. They're made just like anything else through hard work. That is the price we have to pay to achieve any goal. That quote comes from Hall of Fame football coach Vince Lombardi, and he's famous for those words on leadership. And his words describe our Hall of Famers. In this class, you'll find a 7-time All-American, a 4-time MAC champion, a 2-time all-around gymnast, captains of their teams, a coach who's coached 7 of our own Hall of Famers, exceptional athletes who went on to stellar careers as coaches themselves, and no doubt, leaders. 3rd is excellence, and what I've learned is excellence shows up every day. It does not pick and choose. And this group is overflowing with excellence. As a class, they have broken records, won numerous MAC championships, NAIA national championships, appeared in the Sweet 16, earned All-American accolades, NCAA Athlete of the Year in their sport, and continued on professional careers in their respective sports. They pursued and achieved excellence every day at Eastern Michigan. And finally, pride. Not only are we proud of how this class represented themselves while they were here at Eastern Michigan, but we continue to celebrate their success in their careers as successful teachers, coaches, professional athletes, and business people. We are proud to call you our Hall of Famers. So I want to congratulate the class of 2014 on their honor. And next, I would like to introduce to you our distinguished and inspiring president, Susan Martin. She happens to have a birthday tonight, and I was an athlete, not a singer, so I'm not even going to attempt to sing happy birthday, but I wish her a happy birthday and welcome her to the stage.
Tell you a secret since it's my birthday. I'm kind of overinvested in success in athletics, and I'm so glad to see Jim Hefner here, who played in the Cal Bowl, and some others, because We are going to go to a bowl game. I'm just saying it's going to happen, you know. We won the Carol Cartwright Award this year. We've got a great team here in athletics. I know you've been waiting a long time, and we've had legendary success in track and field and other sports, and in swimming and diving. We've gone to the Olympics in track and field for 52 years, but we long for the competitiveness in some of our major revenue-producing sports that can help us, as a 165-year-old university, fund the enhancements and support we need for our student athletes to be successful in the classroom, to graduate, and also to train and be safe as they prepare to compete on the field. I mean, I'm thrilled to see the progress that we've made, and on the main campus, it's never been more beautiful. If you don't have time to see the campus on your trip, please go to the website, because Walter Kraft has been collecting autumn photos of campus, and they are drop dead gorgeous. We had a cool summer with a lot of rain, so actually the grass has never been greener at Eastern Michigan. It's beautiful, really beautiful. Now, we are a 165-year-old campus, and we've kept college affordable. Our tuition increases have been less than others, including 0-0 one year. So our students are paying $2,800 less per year than they would if we had done the average tuition increase of other Michigan public universities. And we doubled, with the support of our Board of Regents, we doubled financial aid from $21 to $42 million, again recommending a $4 million increase to build the fall 2015 class, which we hope will be the fourth, again, record-setting enrollment class in a declining market in Michigan. We're kicking it, others are declining, we're growing here at Eastern Michigan. And we're not just growing in quantity and quality and remaining committed to providing an affordable, accessible, great education with faculty in small classes and great facilities. Our new science complex, the renovation of Bray Herald. We spent 75% of our $210 million reinvesting in facilities on this campus on academic spaces that are attracting students that want to be here. But our Honors College has gone from 400 students to 1,500. We had 500 new students in the Honors College this fall, and our ACT and GPA has gone up tremendously. At the same time, we welcome everyone to get a quality education at an affordable price, and we've been continuously hiring new faculty, 35 to 40 a year, reinvigorating the intellectual capacity on this campus, and we are diverse, we have an attitude, everybody is who they are, they sit in, they protest, and it's the greatest university ever, isn't it? Yeah. And this tonight is one of my favorite ceremonies. It's very emotional, and you know, given that Eastern Michigan has 21 sports, and that we've been around 165 years, for those of you being inducted into the Hall of Fame, I just want to tell you and your friends and family that are here tonight, this is a tremendous accomplishment and achievement, and you should be very proud. Heather Like and her team are doing a tremendous job. We're all working hard to make you proud of your great university and to wear that block E with pride. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and please come back and support all of our athletes in all of our sports and our success in the classroom and on the field. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and congratulations again to our honorees.
Our first inductee of the day is a global track athlete, Boaz Chiboyu.
Boaz Chiboyu is a two-time NCAA champion runner in cross country and track. In 2001, Boaz was honored as the NCAA Cross Country Athlete of the Year. He would go on to be named 7-time NCAA All-American and 10-time Mid-American Conference champion. He is also a 4-time MAC Most Valuable Performer in cross country and at the Indoor and Outdoor Track Championships. Boaz's competitive edge was so intense and fierce that even during his worst moments, he was at his best.
It looked like you ran a pretty fast time out there today.
Oh, yeah, but I really wanted to break 14 minutes, but the weather was not cooperative, so it was windy a little bit, and also I think it was cold, and when we went the first mile, like 4:35, I wanted to run under 4:30. I was like, I think that's gone.
At the 2001 MAC Cross Country Championships, he very unfortunately ended up off course. And when that was discovered, he didn't just walk off the course. He turned, retraced his steps, and competed. He was dead last. And to this day, I've never seen an athlete who dug as deeply as he did.
Although Boaz individually reached remarkable feats, his loyalty to EMU and his team has shone brighter than any single accomplishment.
At the NCAA National Championships that year in cross country, he was the defending champion. And he was sick that day. And late in the race, he got in trouble. And I could see that our team was running great. They had a chance. They had a chance to really finish so high. And I had the moment to get to him on the course and to let him know, Boaz, hang in there, your team needs you, we're going to get to the podium. And just the look on his face and how he responded after that, again, he dug down, not for himself, he dug down for EMU. And I'm feeling a tear.
After graduating from EMU with a secondary education degree, Boaz spent 10 years running professionally for Nike and his native country of Kenya. He was featured in a Nike commercial for the 2008 Olympics and represented Kenya in a 300-meter run at the Indoor Track Championships in Budapest, Hungary, finishing with the second fastest time in the world. Boaz was selected to represent Kenya at the Penn Relays in 2006, 2007, and 2008. During the famous USA vs. World Penn Relays, he led his Kenyan team to victory in 2008 and third-place finishes in 2006 and 2007. Boaz also finished in the top 8 in the 3,000-meter steeplechase and 10,000-meter events at the Kenyan Olympic Trials in 2000, 2004, and 2008. Boaz has since retired from his professional running career and is now a personal trainer and manager of a gym with over 16,000 members. It's Boaz Shaboyewu's loyalty to EMU, intense competitiveness, and outstanding athletic achievement as a runner that he is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Boaz Shaboyewu.
Thank you very much. Can I have a seat? First and foremost, this would not have happened without the assistance of Embassy of United States in London. I was gonna miss my last opportunity, but there was somebody else who was out there, and through a good coach here who coached rowing, he made my journey to Eastern Michigan University happening. That's why I'm here. I would like to thank the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for their bestowed honor to grant me or induct me into the Sports Hall of Fame. This is such an incredible honor and privilege, and something I'll always reflect with great pride. Being part of Eastern Michigan University Track and field program had a significant influence on my life and has helped shape me into the person I am today. I always cherish the memories and friends I met during these years and want to thank everyone who has supported me and guided me during such a memorable time. I would especially like to thank my coach, John Goodrich, and the committee for Hall of Fame, especially Khalid, who broke the news to me at my gym. He works out at my gym. For this nomination, besides teaching me the fundamentals of track and field and sport and the skills necessary to obtain an individual and career records, Goodrich taught me the meaning of hard work, dedication, and humility. These skills, along with the love and support of my family, have carried me through to my adult life. As a coach, a teacher, and a personal trainer, manager, I'm called on every single day to use those life lessons that are an integral part of my sports career. That's what sports is all about. I believe they help create a foundation for what type of person you will become later in your life. I would like to thank my parents, Tola and Jeremiah, who is my father. He's deceased. Without them, I would not be where I am today. Without their unconditional love, support, and encouragement. Though they were not there on the course or track, they always cheered me on. Thank you. Away in a farmland, rural Kenya, about 8,000 miles away from here. And my dad, who's in heaven. I was fortunate to meet two great family friends, and they're my family here. Kirk and Cheryl, Jerry, and a man, Miss, who took me on as the son and the son-in-law. And they really helped me along the way to become the person I am today. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Cheryl. And thanks to Kirk. This journey of mine would not have happened without my brother. I would like to thank my brother David, a professional runner in his right, who acted as a role model. My participation in the sports of track and field just happened as an accident. With a morning run in rural Kenya on a cold, chilly morning, when my brother came from his camp and said, "Boaz, would you go for morning run with me?" I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. I played soccer. I say, "Okay, let's go." I guess he needed a body to keep his company him accompany on that chilly morning, which turned to be the Achilles heel for my participation in the sport. He always been someone who I've looked up to and go for advice. I would like to thank my sister, Consolata, for all the memories we shared while she ran for EMU while I ran professional for Kenya and Nike. She has always been there for me and will always be with me. She will always be my closest siblings around, away from my 2 brothers and 2 sisters in Kenya. Last but not least, the most important person in my life who has stood behind me every single year since 2002. My wife, Stacy, and my 3-year-old, Naomi Chabet. Both of them have encouraged me to become a better person and to always pursue my dreams both in the sports of track and field and professionally. Because they're women, they look on the other side of me that I don't really know. They look at the little things that does not matter to me because I look at big pictures. They are so important to me. They make me who I am today. My wife has been with me throughout my college years and professional, supporting me and loving me. This would not have happened without all those people who stood behind me, including Eastern Michigan University, who would made me a better person, a better man that looks into the future with great challenges and recognizes that I'm not the only one. I need a team. I need a team. That what happened in 2002, when it didn't matter, the NCAA champion did not matter to me, when John told me, we are on a podium. I'm a team player in Eastern Michigan University and instilled that in me, and I'll carry on with me to my death and to another life after I die. May God bless you. Go Eagles. Thank you very much. My heart will always remain here. Thank you.
What a great story. Congratulations, Boaz. Our second inductee is one of the most successful basketball coaches at EMU, Kathy Hart.
Kathy Hart was the head women's basketball coach at Eastern Michigan University from 1976 to 1987, which is the longest tenure in the history of the EMU women's basketball program. The East Detroit High graduate and former Wayne State University basketball player joined EMU's program as a graduate assistant under head coach Gloria Neve. After 1 year as a graduate assistant, Gloria resigned and Kathy accepted the head coach position on October 27, 1976. That same year, Kathy and the EMU women's basketball team were awarded their first athletic scholarship. Her decade-long reign would pioneer many other firsts for the program. In the 1981-82 season, Kathy created the first NCAA women's basketball program at EMU and began Mid-American Conference gameplay, earning a 4th place finish in the new division. Determined to always be better, Kathy would schedule nationally recognized teams like Notre Dame, Washington, Michigan State, Michigan, and in 1986, the team would score a huge upset over the University of Florida. The events during Kathy Hart's time at EMU were monumental and remembered by many.
I remember we were in a conference, I guess, called AIAW, and we moved from that to the NCAA, and everybody knows the NCAA. The second thing that happened, you may or may not know, women play with a ball that's a little bit smaller than the men's ball. That happened during Coach Hart's tenure. I believe in the beginning of her time at Eastern, Title IX was just getting underway, so she was really instrumental in changing lives of young women because they got an opportunity to get a full ride scholarship. All that to say, she's a leader. She brought Eastern's women's program through the most monumental changes that occurred in women's basketball to date.
In 1983, Kathy reached her 100th coaching victory against the University of Illinois Chicago, which brought her career record to 100 wins and 75 losses. Having coached many EMU Hall of Fame athletes, Kathy knew basketball and what it took to make and keep a winning team.
I sat the bench all year long. I only got in when there were blowout games. And so at the end of the season, I went to her. So keep in mind, this is tough and smart, coach. I said, why did you keep me on the team and I'm not playing? And she said, you're glue. Glue? She knew who she had from an athletic standpoint, and she needed a team, too.
Kathy would ultimately finish her career on top with a win-loss record of 146 and 124, making her the first women's basketball coach in EMU history to ever reach 146 wins. She is ranked 3rd in total games coached in the 115-year history of EMU basketball for both men and women, only to be preceded by former EMU men's basketball coach Ben Braun and former EMU men's football and basketball coach Elton Reinerson. After Kathy's coaching career at Eastern Michigan, she became a pharmaceutical sales rep, another career in which she would excel greatly. It is because of Kathy Hart's knowledge of basketball, understanding of team cohesiveness, winning record, and long-tenured dedication to EMU that she is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathy Hart.
I want to thank Karen Levert for doing a great job. That was a wonderful presentation. And Karen was a very good team leader. That was her strength. But her personality was what made me smile every day. So today, with her information technology degree, she's become an extremely successful businesswoman. She's CEO and founder of her own company. In fact, she's so smart, the governor of North Carolina appointed her to his Council on Innovation. So congratulations, Karen. And I'd like to thank Robin Vaughn, our past president of the E-Club. She came and found me in my garage to tell me the good news about my nomination. So thank you, Robin. And Jessica did a great job. She made us all feel very welcomed. And the E-Club, thank you so much for continuing this tradition. It was 40 years ago when Ron Ostrike created the Hall of Fame, and we're all sad that Coach Ostrike passed away this summer. But he left a tremendous legacy for all of us. And for me, he was so special. He changed the direction of my life when he hired me as a young 25-year-old graduate student. He trusted me to continue the women's basketball program under the new NCAA guidelines. And it was a critical time for women at that time. Luckily for us, Ron Ostrike was acting athletic director, and EMU added 8 varsity sports. So that's how it began. And I'd like to introduce some of the women who benefited from our Title IX changes, the very first Hurons to receive athletic scholarships. Please stand. Some of my players are here. Janice Sheard, Sharon Rose, Hall of Fame, Karen LeVert, Jane Schaefer, Laura Nelson, and Lori Bird. Lori's a Hall of Fame recipient, but she's also the first woman to have her jersey retired, and it now proudly hangs in Bowen Fieldhouse with all the boys. And last year, Lori was nominated as a candidate for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I don't know how Eastern could be better represented than these players. So congratulations, Lori. And everybody knows the coaches, everybody knows a player makes a coach, so I have to admit I was pretty lucky I had great players. So thank you to my team. So from the Hurons to the Eagles of today, I think I'm most proud that 180 women have now earned their varsity letter. 180 women, that's more than this room. And they've competed against 160 different colleges and universities representing EMU throughout the nation. That's a tremendous legacy, and I know my team and I are happy to be part of that. So, for me personally, I'd like to thank Dr. Jack Menzie. Dr. Menzie is an EMU alum. He's a longtime professor and chairman of the leadership department. And for me, he was my mentor and my teacher. In fact, his lessons were the best lectures I've ever heard. And it's not surprising that he was elected to the Michigan Education Hall of Fame. So you can say that Esther and Jack are true EMU. I love coaching here and being part of the Eastern family, and it's an honor for me to be in the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Kathy. Our next inductee left his mark on the track at EMU, Fred LaPlante.
Fred LaPlante is an EMU All-American distance runner hailing from Toledo, Ohio. Fred's strong determination for winning served as a key element in the team's cohesiveness and victory during the early 70s. Fred earned All-American honors, finishing as a runner-up in the 1972 NCAA Division II 1500-meter race. But his individual feats aren't what made this runner a standout. It was his willingness to drive his relay teams to victory.
Fred was an excellent teammate. You could always depend on Fred to do, and when the gun went off, Fred was ready to run. We went to Drake Relays, and Drake Relays at the time was the grandfather of all relays. If you won Drake Relays, not only did you get a watch, but the prestige was pretty high. Our distance medley went to Drake Relays, and a guy named Stanley Vinson got the quarter leg and built us a lead from there. Fred took the three-quarter leg from Stanley, and I'm watching Fred run. The three-quarter leg is 3 laps, and he's building a larger and larger and larger lead for us, to the point where when he handed off, Gordon Minty, who took the anchor leg, the mile relay leg, said, "Go get your watch." And the record, from what I understand, stood for over 20 years.
Fred's dedication to his team was also evident off of the track.
There was an incident that I always remember about Fred when we had a 2-mile relay that was really quite good, and the 2-mile relay had the fastest qualifying time in the country on what they call a legal-sized track. And we didn't get into the NCAA championships, and U of M was running championships at the time. Don Canham was running the event, and they put U of M in the meet ahead of us, and they had not run as fast a time. Don Canham said, well, they beat you later in the year. Actually, they beat a different 2-mile relay later in the year from Eastern Michigan, but not the same guys. So what did Fred do? Fred went to Don Canham's house and asked him to explain why we didn't get into that meet. He wanted to defend his teammates and Eastern Michigan. That's what he did.
In 1971, Fred gained All-American honors for helping to carry his team to victory, running the second leg of the NAIA 2-mile relay championship indoor meet, which led the team to the championship trophy. In 1972, Fred was a member of the NCAA College Division Championship team. That same year, Fred led his distance medley relay team to a championship victory at the notorious Drake Relays. Fred's 2-mile relay team and distance medley relay team set the EMU records. Fred finished his career ranked 3rd on EMU's all-time 1-mile list. After finishing his running career at Eastern Michigan University, Fred turned his attention to coaching. In 1974, he served as a graduate assistant to Bob Parks when EMU won its first ever Mid-American Conference Track Championship. After making his coaching debut as an assistant coach for the men's track program at Columbia University in 1977, Fred accepted the head coaching job for the San Diego State women's track and cross-country teams from 1978 to 1983. In that time, he coached his women's team to 5 top 10 national rankings and also coached the women's U.S. track team to numerous victories. Then, in 1984, he accepted the head coaching job for the University of Southern California women's track and cross-country team, turning the program around by defeating UCLA, winning a conference title and an NCAA championship, all firsts for the USC Trojans. After 10 successful years as a women's head coach, Fred slid over to the men's side, returning to EMU as an assistant coach, a post he held from 1988 to 1992. During this time, EMU recorded 4 consecutive MAC track championships. In 1992, Fred returned to the head coaching role at Lehigh University for both the men's and women's programs. Fred completed his career serving 15 years in different coaching capacities for the men's track program at University of Michigan. While coaching the Wolverines, Fred has several notable accomplishments, including winning NCAA Great Lakes Regional Assistant Coach of the Year, coaching his first Paralympic champion, and winning a conference title for the Maize and Blue. It is because of his dedication, contributions to the sport of track, and outstanding coaching prowess that Fred LaPlante is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fred LaPlante.
Well, the one thing I was struck with that video was I didn't know that they had color film developed yet when I was in school, and it was good to see a couple color shots in there. I also want to thank my presenter, Gary Collins. It was nice of you to take time out of your demanding schedule. He walks his dog and he cleans his motorcycle, and he is able to take time out to do that, so I appreciate your sacrifice. Well, thanks to Eastern Michigan University, the E-Club, and the selection committee for this honor. And congratulations to my fellow inductees. Thank you all for sharing this occasion with us, and I would just like to say to you from the bottom of my heart that since the moment I received information about this ceremony, I've been praying for each and every one of you that I would not veer from this script and start rambling about the people I'm about to thank. because we could be here forever if I did that. So I hope I sound sincere, but it'll be best for all of us if I just stick to my notes here. But before I do get started, I do want to say how fortunate we are to have such a great president, President Martin, and our athletic director, Heather Light. I'm sure you've noticed how much enthusiasm they have and how much energy they have. And I couldn't help but think that if both of you had run track, you might have really done something with yourselves. So it's good that you were doing that. Also, I want to say that I'm very proud of being part of the Eastern Michigan track tradition, and we've certainly had many Hall of Famers and a great tradition. And I want you to know that tradition is continuing on today under some great leadership with John Goodrich, our head coach. So, John, great job, and good luck at the MAC championships next week. Okay, I'm going to stick to the script now. Okay, again, what's best about this occasion for me is the opportunity to express my thanks to the many people who have inspired me and mentored me throughout my career. I grew up in a stable home environment, and I was very fortunate to have wonderful parents who supported my older brother Frank and I, whatever our interests were. And my folks have since passed, but my brother is here. Frank? And I want to thank you for introducing me to the grace and courage of hurdling at an early age. When one day, as our dad was chasing him into the backyard, he hurdled our chain link fence from a dead run without hesitation to safety in our neighbor's yard. And this still stands out as one of the greatest performances under pressure I've ever seen. I also had stability with track coaches, as I only had one high school coach and one college coach. Ron Schlievert, he's with his wife here, Barb. He was the Toledo Bowser High School cross country and track coach, and he found me in a 7th grade phys ed class 50 years ago. Didn't seem that long ago, does it? But it's 50 years ago. Within that year, I realized that I discovered my ultimate role model was no longer Al Kaline. I wanted to run track, and I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be a coach like Coach Schlievert. His knowledge, work ethic, and integrity were traits to admire and to emulate. Truthfully, I never matched up, but your example was ingrained in all my competitive and coaching endeavors. I can never thank you enough, but I won't stop trying. Thanks, Coach, and thanks, Barb. As fate would have it, one of Coach Schlievert's high school stars competed for then powerhouse Western Michigan, whose assistant coach was Bob Parks, until he took over the reins at Eastern a year before I graduated from high school. That association led to receiving several of Coach Parks' famous handwritten recruiting packages. I learned in 1968 that EMU was a top-notch school of education, and they had a charismatic coach hell-bent on attacking the big boy schools. I lucked out again. Coach Parks, and by the way, I believe Coach Parks is not here because I think he's actually working at a cross-country meet, believe it or not. But Coach Parks, thank you for attracting and exposing us to so many talented individuals from a variety of cultures and backgrounds. Thanks for developing us into winners and giving us confidence to succeed on the track and elsewhere. And in my case in particular, thank you for showing me the blueprint to a career in college coaching. So thank you, Bob and Pat Parks. I'm sure I'll be seeing them soon. I really have so many more people to thank who have helped me in so many ways, but knowing we have a time limit, I will sum it up with this classic short poem that I came across that I'm sure all of you know by heart, entitled, Thank You, Thank You. It began in South Toledo with Harrison, Klipstein, Kennedy, Patton, and Foley. We competed in all sports, and Rick Baker was our goalie. Then I got to the track team at Eastern Michigan University. Tipton, Larkins, Vance, Thomas, Swanston, DeVries, Vardigan, Kirkland, Crawford, Vincent, Pettis. Man, we sure had diversity. Summer training with Sachs, Lahowski, and Poyle. We never missed a workout without looking at Goyles. My cross-country pals were the best you could find. Booty, Miz, Alphonse, Terry, Buff, Gordon, Scott, and Tommy. You sure kicked my behind. And no matter who was on our relay team, passing batons, Seiler, Carroll, Sampson, Collins, Lynch, Wells, or Williams, we were always good for gold, silver, bronze. Our support was unmatched, with Doug Tompkins, a true Hall of Famer, Then there's Bodner, Davenport, and Gary Stricklick, who was our head trainer. My roommates were awesome. Cracks, Ronks, Herds, and Dowds. Our parties with streakers sure drew big crowds. And the knowledge I gained from Eastern alums, Mifsud, Sorella, Herman, Hayes Jones, sure weren't no bums. Great professors I had, Doctors Williams, Fennell, and Sion, and for theory of sport, the Mount Rushmore of Eastern, Parks, Ostrike, Dutcher, and Jones. Associating with talent can help you get far, so thank you, Miss Lansky, wherever you are. I got a big break to coach on the West Coast. BD, Joe, Larry, Ron, Don, Peter, Tom, Al, Tim, Dixon, Maggie, and Serve, you all helped me the most. And it was so special to serve in Ypsilanti, Tibria, Lip, Buddy, Chuck, Chad, Dazel, Jeff, Wayne, Charlie, Mark, Eric, Kurt, Kevin, Sean, John, and Giles. The way we connected sure was uncanny. To my family, the Bensons, the Bruners, the Douglases, and the Plants, who shared my whole ride, I can't thank you enough that you stayed by my side. So I left out the stories, but of this, I'm not lying. I'll share them all at the bar, especially if you're buying. Remember the Hurons, go Eagles, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Fred. Our next inductee is diving great Tom Michael.
Tom Michael was one of the most outstanding divers in Mid-American Conference history, and inarguably the best diver to have competed at Eastern Michigan University. As the son of a former diving champion and coach, this Erie, Michigan native was destined for greatness at a young age, and he took to the pool like a natural.
Tommy actually was born to be a diver. Just before his 3rd birthday, he swam the length of Sylvania's pool. And he jumped out, ran down to the shallow end, or the deep end, and went off the diving board. Then the next day, we go back, and I look down at the other end, and everybody's screaming, he's going off the 3-meter board. Well, needless to say, that was the start of his career.
After being heavily recruited by Coach Mike Jones and Coach Mike Leiden, Tom signed his letter of intent and began diving at Eastern Michigan University in 1983. Tom was beyond excellent at EMU, winning the Mid-American Conference Diver of the Year 3 years in a row and becoming a 5-time MAC diving champion. His love for his team and commanding presence earned him the title of team captain his senior year in 1986. While at EMU, Tom became a 3-time national qualifier and shattered numerous records, including the MAC 3-meter diving record, the EMU Olds Marshall pool diving record for the 1-meter and 3-meter dive, the Kent State University pool diving record for the 3-meter, the Ball State University pool diving record for the 3-meter, and EMU's school diving record for the 3-meter, stealing the honor from his coach Mike Leiden. Tom's need-to-win attitude has propelled him through college and beyond.
And there were many nights that we'd go home and be eating supper after practice, and he'd say, Dad, I want to go back and try so-and-so. I want to see if I can do this. He was like poetry in motion.
After EMU, Tom went on to dive professionally around the world from 1986 to 1994, including Bob Lowe Island in Ontario, Six Flags, New Jersey, Disneyland, California, and the Berlin Circus in Germany. In 1992, Tom started his own professional diving company called Aqua Ventures Entertainment, based in Rennes, France. However, Tom still had an itch to compete, and in 1994, he competed in the World High Diving Championship in Silver Springs, Florida, and was crowned champion. Later, due to his success, he was featured on ABC's Wide World of Sports. After Tom's extensive professional diving career, he returned to coaching and returned to EMU as the men's and women's diving coach from 1994 to 2000. During this time, Tom coached 6 conference champions, 1 Conference Diver of the Year, and earned MAC Diving Coach of the Year twice. Today, he lives in Melbourne, Australia, where he coaches with the same tenacity he had as a diver.
Right now he's in Australia coaching, and he gets to coach 8 to 10 kids in an elite program for the preparation for their Olympic team.
It is because of Tom Michael's hunger to win and excellence as an EMU athlete and coach that he's being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Unfortunately, Tom could not make it here today, but his father, Jack Michael, is here, and he'll be accepting the award on behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Michael.
Well, I know Tom is very sorry that he could not be here. And as a parent, I can tell you this is quite a day. I Skype with him about once a month, maybe twice a month, and we email quite often. So I said, Tom, I'll accept it for you, but why don't you write something and I'll just read it. He says, Dad, you've never read one of those in your life, just wing it like you always do. So I was Tommy's coach till he got out of high school. And he was very fortunate, and he would like to thank Mike Jones and Mike Leiden. And I know they're both looking down and saying, good job, Tom. The important thing that he had here at Eastern is the fellowship of his teammates. And I always preach that with the team that I coached, that your team isn't just a group of athletes, it's a family. And when Mike Jones and Mike Leiden both came to our house to sign him to come to Eastern, I thought, wow, they even got the head coach to come too. That meant a lot to me, and I know it meant a lot to Tom. And he said, make sure that they understand that I loved Eastern, and I loved it enough that I wanted to come back and coach here, which he did. And it's ironic that he had his own company in Rennes, France, and his younger brother and sister both dived with him over there, along with several other athletes from this area. And they dived all over Europe, and it was amazing that they were able to continue doing what they loved doing. But it got to the point where France was taking more of his money for taxes than he was making, so he decided that he's going to give up that business and come back to the States and try to find a job. And I'm not even sure who called, but someone called this day after he arrived home and said, I've got to get a hold of Tom. Mike Leiden's leaving for Kentucky, and we need a diving coach. And I said, well, he's laying on the couch right now. He just got in from France. So the following day, he came up here, and he became the diving coach at Eastern Michigan, which he loved doing. He started a club here. He loved doing that. I sent one of my divers up to dive with him during his, after our practices. He had come up here 2 nights a week, and he ended up being a state champion also. But the thing that Tommy stressed, that he wanted to thank the E-Club and the selection committee for his nomination and election into, he's called it the very prestigious Hall of Fame. And he also wanted to make sure that I told everyone that's in attendance that being part of Eastern Michigan was a very, very big part of his life, because he met many friends here while he was coaching his club team here. He met his wife Whitney Shearer, who was a University of Michigan diver, and they have 2 kids. They're all in Australia and have been, will be 4 years in February. But his experience here, we dwelled on that quite often. And finally, he said that his election as the first diver in the Eastern Michigan's Hall of Fame, he hopes opens the door for other divers to become part of this great organization. And I said, you know, Tom, I know one of their members, and I don't know who was in. I said, but when I was just getting out of school, Eastern Michigan had a world and Olympic champion hurdler in Hayes Jones, and he's got to be one of the first guys in their Hall of Fame. And so his thoughts for all of you is to say thank you. Sorry that he cannot be here. His brother's coaching diving in Philadelphia. His sister Tracy's here with me. And the thing that Eastern Michigan means to him, and I guess I can't express it the way he would, was that he had so much fun here. I used to bring all my athletes up here to watch him dive, and we'd have our own 25-man cheering section. We never saw him lose. And through high school, it was great watching him perform. And when he got into professional diving, he opened the door for a lot of other kids to do the same thing. And it's ironic that one of the young men that I started coaching at Sylvania, David Colturi, is now doing the same thing that Tommy did in the Red Bull cliff diving stuff. So his leadership and what he did means a lot, and it all started because Mike Lighton tied him into Boblo Island, and I think that really gave him a lot of exposure. But he wants to thank everyone, and especially the university, for his selection into this very prestigious organization. Thank you very much.
We wish Tom the best, and thank you very much, Jack, for being here. Next up is men's basketball great, Lorenzo Neely.
Lorenzo Neely arrived at EMU and made an impact on the men's basketball team from the very beginning. Through a lot of hard work, Lorenzo was named the starting point guard as a freshman and earned the Mid-American Conference Freshman of the Year title. At 5 feet 11 inches, Lorenzo would often get heckles from opposing teams' crowds due to his size and stature, but all would be surprised when they viewed his performance on the court.
One of his friends, Doyle Daniels, played for Northern, and he told me about a little guard that played with him when he was in middle school that he wanted to take me to go see. And when I walked in the gym and he showed me who Lorenzo was at the time, I was like, you sure that's him? Because he was so small and little that I couldn't believe that he was the player that he described to me.
Former EMU coach Ben Braun discovered Lorenzo playing AAU basketball and followed him throughout his high school career, and soon after would recruit him to play at EMU. Lorenzo's commanding presence on the court helped to lead EMU to victory at the MAC tournament his freshman year, which would put the Hurons in position for the team's first ever NCAA Division I postseason appearance. Lorenzo's toughness, tremendous work ethic, and leadership filled EMU's need for a great ball handler and defensive player.
And I know it was plenty of nights that he would actually come in Bowen Fieldhouse at 2, 3 o'clock at night to work out. And the thing about Lorenzo, and we still joke to this point, if you worked out with Lorenzo, you normally only worked out with him once. I don't know too many people worked out with him more than once.
Lorenzo's constant molding and development of his craft earned him the Most Valuable Player award for EMU men's varsity basketball team and EMU's Athlete of the Year in 1990 and 1991. Later, Lorenzo would also be named First Team All-MAC, which he would repeat 3 times. Lorenzo's tenacity and bold demeanor was not only displayed on the court, but also in the locker room. Lorenzo's outspokenness unintentionally transformed him into a liaison between Coach Braun and the rest of his team, which contributed to Lorenzo becoming team captain for the 1989, 1990, and 1991 season.
He was basically a union rep. Any of the issues the players had with Ben, he was the one that put the fight up with Ben.
In 1989, Lorenzo sank the game-winning free throw against Bowling Green State University to send the Hurons into the MAC semifinals. He also led that season in scoring with 379 points in 29 games, a feat he would repeat a year later. Lorenzo ended his EMU career with 1,528 points, 43 free throws, 317 rebounds, and 521 assists, which ranks second in EMU's all-time record books, as well as leading EMU to its first ever NCAA Division I Sweet 16 appearance in 1991. After completing his playing career, Lorenzo traded his shorts and jersey in for a suit and tie. He began coaching for his alma mater for 2 seasons before moving on to other college programs such as University of Michigan, University of California, and Western Michigan University. Today, Lorenzo continues coaching as an assistant at Wayne State University. Because of his outstanding on-court presence, off-the-court leadership, and never-ending determination, Lorenzo Neely is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lorenzo Neely.
All the inductees were told to keep our speeches to a 5-minute limit. I've often heard it said that a man's speech is supposed to be a lot like a woman's skirt. Short enough to be interesting, yet long enough to cover the subject. I want to thank Derek for his kind words, and I want to mention why I picked him to present me this evening. Derek is one of several people that I believe that knows me, my basic fundamental principles of life, my attitude, and the way I go about things. Derek has been to me a great influence in my life. His common influence and wisdom has guided me mentally, spiritually, socially, and most importantly, his love and day-to-day actions speak louder than words can say. So I am honored to have had him present me this evening. I thank you, Daryn, profusely. I would like to recognize some of the other inductees and congratulate them. I know this is a special evening, not only for me, but for them and their families as well. Congratulations. I also want to thank the E-Club Selection Committee for my induction, as I know there are a lot of my teammates who are just as deserving as me, and hopefully they will be presented with this opportunity one day soon. Players like the Thomas twins, Carl and Charles Thomas, Marcus Kennedy, and Corey Hollis. I just so happen to be the first of the 5 of what I consider the best basketball team in the history of Eastern Michigan University. Some of my other teammates I want to recognize and thank: Roger Lewis, Von Nickelberry, Khalil Felder, Fanois Pierce, Pete Pangus, Chris Pipkin, Mike Boykin, and Joe Frazier. Those young men played their roles and made it possible not only for our team to have success, but me and my opportunity to stand before you. I also want to acknowledge some of my coaches, administrators, professors, alumni, and supporters: Brian Miller, Sidney and Faye and Keith Danbrock, Tyrone Wilson, Chris Malloy, Jim Streeter, Jeff Fulton, Andy Harold, Doug Hill, Ray Satlock, Lynette Finley, Courtney McEnough, Ron and his beautiful daughter Debbie Collins, who is no longer with us, Gene Smith, Gary Strickland, Bill Tuscany, Dr. Rozier, Bud and Carol Schimmerfini, Roy Williams, Doc Sims, John and Vivi Romanis, David Williams, John Nordlinger, Gary Evans, Vicky Raoul, Zeph Chapman, Jacqueline Wiley, and many, many more. When I first received the introduction call, the first person I thought of was my mother, Earlene Neely. And how proud she would be sitting down there watching me speak. My mother was a very, very special lady. She adopted me from within my family when I was at the age of 3. Despite all my uncles and aunts, she made unbelievable sacrifices for me to have any and all the necessities to make something of myself. She believed in me when I did not believe in myself. Her support, wisdom, guidance, discipline, and most of all, love made all my dreams possible. Quick story or two. My mother, she had a voice that would carry just about anywhere. So when I was younger, I used to go over to my friend's house several blocks away, and we would be in the basement. When the street lights came on in the evening, she would come on the back porch and yell my name. Lorenzo! 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 Come home! Honestly, I can hear her. I mean, seriously, I can hear her. When we were playing in the Carrier Dome during the 1991 NCAA tournament, I knew she was coming to the game thanks to a special few people, but I had no idea where she was sitting. If you knew anything about the Carrier Dome, you knew they average about 25,000 screaming fans. Well, I quickly found out where she was sitting as I went to the free throw line. And I missed the free throw, which I don't do too often, I think. I can hear her yelling, "Take your time." And I certainly know where she is now in heaven as I speak, yelling, "Take your time." I love and I miss you, Mom. I stand before you a humble and honored young man. And accepting this honor, I am delighted to acknowledge the indispensable contributions of many other individuals who have provided advice and support at every stage of my life. People like my high school coach, Harry Hairston, close friends and mentor, Michael Eaton, Richard McDermott, Kevin Williams, Charles Albright, Eugene Brown, Bernard Williams, John Baker, Benny White, the great Kurt Jones, and many, many more. To all my close relatives, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, father and biological mother, in which a lot of you are present this evening, I'll say this. God made it possible for us to be family, but I chose you with my heart. My biological mother, Yolanda Denise Neely, my father, who is no longer with us, Robert Ross, brothers, Reginald Neely and Orlando Maddox, sisters, Tanisha and Darnell Neely, Marcy Irby, cousins, Kevin Neely, Herman McAlpine, and Lamar Liner, and my nephew, Lamorris Neely. In your own little way, each of you have inspired me greatly. I thank you profusely for your continued love and support from the bottom of my heart. When I was a young man growing up, I participated in several other sports, activities like boxing and baseball, and the marching band, in which I believe I was pretty good. But basketball quickly became the sport of my choice. My first coach, Jensen Baker, whom I want to recognize and would ask to stand, but he was not able to attend this evening. He supported me in the way that a real mentor, father figure would. He taught me, supported me, cared, and most of all, showed me what tough love was all about. Quick story. Well, I stole a car. No. I take that back. I drove his car around the parking lot, I like to say. But I got my last whooping. Yes, I got whoopings. My sister Darnell, and I know she's still proud of that to this day. I was with my best friend Beetle at the time, and we were riding with Coach Baker, and he had to make a stop. So he pulled up into the YMCA parking lot, and he told us that he had to go in here for a couple of minutes, and he got out the car. And why did he do that? He left his keys in the car for us to listen to some music. No sooner than he went in the building, I jumped into the driver's seat, started the car, and pulled out the parking spot, but no car in front of us, and I drove around the parking lot. Pulled back into the parking spot. We were smiling, just laughing, having a good old time. Well, I got greedy and wanted to test the waters again. But this time, when I pulled back into the spot, I drove a little too far. This is when our so-called fun ended. I did not have time to go back around the parking lot and re-enter the parking spot. I had to put the car in reverse. Well, the car didn't have no reverse. So I had to get out the car and push it back into the spot. By this time, Coach was coming out, so I was caught. Coach Baker got in the car and told me to get out and catch the bus home. He gave me bus fare and told me to keep it moving. Then he looked at Beetle and said, well, you want to ride or you going to catch the bus with him? He caught the bus with me. Later that evening, my sister Donnell came into the room and told me to take off all my clothes because I was getting a butt whooping. She went on to say that my mother could not get up the nerves to whip on her baby boy. Coach Baker had called my mother to inform her of what I had did and why he made me catch the bus home. She just so happened to be at bowling that evening and was not in a position to deal with it, although Donnell was more than willing to whip my behind. I want to thank Coach Baker. Coach, I want to thank you for allowing me to understand that in life we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. I love and I thank you profusely. Another great individual who was a significant part of my life, Lance Ivey. I am so honored and grateful to have met him. He was in my life at a very important time for young people. His direction and mentorship allowed me to stay the course and grow both as a player and person. I thank him. Coach Ben Braun. I spoke with Coach the other day, and he wasn't able to make it because of prior obligations. But if you know anything about Coach Braun, he liked to do two things: compete and eat. And I mean eat. As I told Coach, I thank him for allowing a young man from the inner city of Detroit to be his first recruit and an opportunity to lead this program for 4 years as a starting point guard, and for his love and support as a coach, mentor, boss, and friend. I am grateful from deep inside. My current boss and daily mentor, David Greer, I am so honored and truly blessed to work under your leadership as you lead by example on a daily basis, professionally and personally. Thank you. EJ, it's a pleasure and enjoyment to work with you. When it comes to significant others and spouses, I believe that there is somebody for everybody in life. I am so grateful and blessed to have met the lady love of my life and my wife, Tina. Please stand. She is a beautiful, intelligent, supportive, and caring wife that is my heart and heart. I love you, and I thank you more than you would ever know. As I always tell you, I am still in love with you. And the best thing I have ever done, and probably the best thing I will ever do, is have two extraordinary kids, Raven and Lincoln. Please stand. They are my artworks. I know you may feel that I am anal at times and get on your nerves, but I'm going to continue to challenge you because I expect nothing short of greatness. I am so proud to be able to say I am your father. I love you. Lincoln, how you know I love you, my man? Say it loud so everybody can hear you. My man. To our EMU fans, I do not know much about the crowd support here in the Convo, but the Bourne Fieldhouse crowd was the best, no doubt. When teams came to Eastern, they knew it was a battle to be fought. But more times than not, we were victorious. Thank you for your unwavering support. My time here was the best, and when I say the best, it truly was. I was always told that my college experience would provide me with lasting memories. I couldn't have asked for a better four-year experience at a university. Thank you.
Congratulations, Lorenzo. Our next inductee is former gymnastics standout Allison Newman.
Farmington Hills, Michigan native Allison Newman stepped on Eastern Michigan University's campus in 1989 and never looked back. Once given the opportunity, this outstanding gymnast stood out above her competition, always working hard and surpassing any and all expectations of her coaches and teammates.
We recruited Allison because she had all the tools necessary to be successful. And you always expect them to do well, but she exceeded our expectations. She was one of those kids that came on and really thrived as a college athlete. She became more consistent, she was competitive, and she had the lines and, you know, really the style and the grace that's required to be successful. So she proved out to be one of the best kids we've recruited.
As a freshman, Allison displayed a clutch performance on floor exercise with a score of 9.2 to aid her team to win a close meet against Western Michigan, which attributed to her becoming the EMU floor exercise champion and EMU most valuable gymnast that year. As a sophomore, she continued her streak of excellence and broke the EMU school record in balance beam with a score of 9.4. Joining Allison in dominating the sport was teammate Robin Lohide. This dynamic duo took EMU's women's gymnastics team to new heights.
Now, she was teammates with another excellent athlete, which was Robin Lohide, and those two together formed one of the best tandems in the conference. I think Allison senior year they finished 1 and 2, and Robin was only like 0.05 behind her. So that was a really special group of kids with some real talent in it.
In 1991, Allison was flying high as an EMU gymnast, winning the Mid-American Conference all-around title with a score of 37.40 and returned in 1992 to defend that title with a winning score of 37.95. Also in 1991, at the NCAA Central Regional Championship in Auburn, Alabama, she tied for 7th place in the all-around, tied for 4th place, and broke a school record in the uneven bars with a score of 9.775 and was 10th in the balance beam with a score of 9.650, which tied the varsity record. She also set records that year in floor exercise and vault. Her expectations for herself and constant preparation helped Allison to thrive at all of her events.
One of the things about Allison is she was such a perfectionist that she did things until she felt it was right. And we were down at the regional championships and she was on floor. And she must have done 10 double pikes and warm-ups. And a couple of the other coaches were standing there and saying, you know, make her stop, make her stop. And I said, she'll stop when she's ready. And she did one and walked up and said, okay, I'm good to go.
Allison finished her gymnastics career in 1992 and became a high school Spanish teacher for Belleville High School in Belleville, Michigan. Later, she would earn her master's degree in secondary education. Although Allison was very busy with starting her career, she would continue to display her athleticism by competing in numerous women's fitness competitions. In 2002, Allison took 6th place in the Miss Fitness USA competition and 15th place in the Miss Fitness World competition. The following year, Allison made huge improvements and returned to take 4th place at both competitions. It's because of her competitive nature, high expectations, and constant improvement as a gymnast and athlete that Allison Newman is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Allison Newman.
Got to bring it down to the short person level here. I'd like to start by thanking the E-Club for selecting me to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and it's truly an honor. There are several people here that I'd like to thank tonight. My friends, my boyfriend, my sister. I really appreciate you guys supporting me tonight. Next, I'd like to give a special thank you to my coach, Steve Wills. I'm so grateful that you chose me to be a part of your team. You not only supported me inside of the gym, but outside as well. You stayed after many practices with me so that I could do that perfection thing that you say that I did, and I really appreciated that. Outside of the gym, you supported me too. You helped me through one of the most difficult times that I've ever had, and I will always remember what you did for me. Next, I'd like to thank Daryn Dorset, my assistant coach. I'll never forget the fun, the laughter, and how you pushed and motivated me. I can still hear your voice inside my head saying, "Come on Al, you can do it." It's amazing, to this day, those words of encouragement push me and bring me to that next level. Whenever I feel challenged, I still hear you and see you. I'd also like to thank two of my greatest supporters, my sister and my father, who's not here tonight. I just want you to know that I truly appreciate all that you sacrificed through the years so that I could pursue my love of gymnastics. The final person that I would like to thank is my mother. She's not able to be here tonight, but I want to give her the biggest thanks. If it weren't for her, gymnastics would have not been possible for me. She saw after my very first year when I was 10 years old how much it meant to me and how much I loved it. But unfortunately, money was a little tight and it might not have been possible for me to take my lessons. But she decided that she was going to fix that. She took on a job cleaning the gym so that I could be in gymnastics. She never missed a competition. She even tried to coach me sometimes inside the house when I would practice my floor routines in the living room. I know that she is very sad that she cannot be here tonight, but I know that she is at home supporting me as she always did. Thanks again to everyone who was a part of my gymnastics, and thanks to the E-Club for this amazing honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Allison. Our final inductee in the class of 2014 is football star Brett Petersmark.
Hailing from Royal Oak, Michigan, Brett Petersmark has been one of the most devoted EMU football linemen. Brett's skill level would have surprised anyone knowing that he started playing football his freshman year of high school at Catholic Central. From the beginning, Brett displayed tenacity, grit, and perseverance that would ultimately help him get college offers.
Well, at the time, Eastern was going through some tough times. He wanted the opportunity to play, and Brett chose Eastern Michigan over Central Michigan for a couple of reasons, but ultimately he enjoyed his visit to Eastern and the opportunity that they offered him on the offensive line.
After arriving on campus at EMU, Brett unfortunately sustained a football injury and underwent back surgery. After surgery, Brett received the devastating news that he would never be able to play football again. However, this dedicated, hard-nosed offensive center defied all odds and earned the starting center position in 1984. In 1985, Brett's hard work would pay off again as he earned honorable mention All-Mid-American Conference. Brett's senior year, he was named captain and used his leadership role to help make an impact on the team and the EMU football program. This winning record, combined with Brett's leadership and determination, is what helped him earn first-team All-MAC in 1986. It was after this winning season that proved the EMU football program was turning around.
Brett's claim to fame was they had a winning record for the first time in many, many years. So at 6-5, that was unprecedented. It was a huge leap for Eastern. It was putting them on the competitive map in the MAC, and that team, that senior team for Brett, laid the groundwork for what was to come.
The momentum Brett helped build carried the 1987 team to a win-loss record of 10-2, a MAC championship, and a victory in the California Bowl. A memory that will never be forgotten.
When we won the Cal Bowl in 1987, he was up in the stands watching the game. And after the game, he came down and hugged me. It was pretty emotional. It was awesome. I'll never forget it.
Brett's dedication, leadership, and commitment made a significant impact on EMU's football program and the development of his teammates.
We were supposed to work out one day, and I was running behind. I was late. Well, he wasn't very happy with me being late. So what he did is he had a long talk with me, and it struck a chord. And the chord sunk deep that if you want something, you got to work really hard to get it. And you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. And that's what he did.
Brett finished his career at Eastern Michigan University in 1986 and became a free agent for the NFL. It wasn't long before he was picked up briefly by the Detroit Lions before finding a home with the Houston Oilers in 1987. Brett's dedication to EMU and EMU football has never stopped. In 2006, Brett assisted in launching the E-Gridiron Group, a former football players club that supports the EMU football program. It is because of his perseverance, leadership, and continued commitment to the EMU football program that Brett Petersmark is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brett Petersmark.
Well, that was so emotional, I had to break it up a little bit. I got my notes right here. No, that's not them either. Wow. Already, you guys get me crying even before we walk up here. That was impressive. I am truly humbled by this honor to be included with so many gifted individuals. Shaboya and Fred, the stuff you do, running track and cross country. Hey, I hated it. We had to do 1.5 miles under 11 minutes, and every year we detest it. So what you guys did is unbelievable. Tom, 5 MAC diving championships. I was afraid to jump off the platform in the IM building, feet first, right? Allison, 2-time defending champ, all conference. The things you guys do with your body, we'd be calling the trainers to get us off the field. Kathy, 146 wins, so impressive. Lorenzo, man, come on. You come in as a freshman, start, 4 years, Sweet 16, fantastic. I am truly honored just to be up here with those guys. I'd like to thank the E-Club, the board members, thank you for this nomination. President Martin and the regents, what you guys have done for all the hard work for Eastern Michigan, and you keep doing it. Safer, better university than when we were here. Athletic Director Heather, what you've done in such a short time, the momentum that you got going on here, I am so excited for EMU's future. I'd also like to thank my mother and father. My dad's not here right now, he had a little surgery, so he's doing fine, he's recovering. But Mom, thank you for teaching me how to be a better person. I love you. I'd also like to share some appreciation for some of the coaches that I had. Mike Stock, who got me to come to Eastern Michigan. Jim Harkema, who got me to stay at Eastern Michigan. And my offensive line coach, Bruce Zalstra, who actually got me to really love football. Without their direction and support, I wouldn't have nearly the successes that I had as I was here. But even more importantly, I'd like to thank my teammates and my friends that I made at Eastern Michigan. A good friend of mine, Jimmy Hefner, coming up, surprises me, flies up from California. I haven't seen him in a while. He's like, Brett, I wouldn't miss it. Those are the things that we got at Eastern Michigan, man. You know, I wouldn't be up here today, again, with all your guys' support, encouragement. So thank you and your friendship. You know, I don't know how many times all of us think of a good friend, a game, a play, a party that we were at. It just brings back memories that it doesn't matter. 30 plus years after being here, you just start to laugh. I don't care, you could have a tough day, kids, work, it doesn't matter. You think of a situation and your friends and the memories you had here in Eastern Michigan, and it makes you laugh, makes you smile. That's the experience that I had at Eastern Michigan. You know, at some point in time, all the athletes here had some type of challenge or hurdle to overcome, and it seems like you used it to make your success in your sport even better. So, as they mentioned earlier, I did want to share a couple moments that really were monumental in my life. And Doc Rozier, because I know most all the athletes knew Doc, you were part of that, you know. That issue when I hurt my back and we had the surgery, I don't know if you remember specifically, but I was in your office and we were going to talk about what's the rehab game plan. And so I came in there and we were sitting across from your desk, and you actually mentioned to me and you said, hey Brett, you might want to truly consider not playing football anymore. And I was taken back and I just kind of looked at you. And then with some very colorful language, I said, Doc, that's not an option. Eastern's playing for football's playing for my education. What's option B? Came up with the plan, and obviously it worked out. But what it determined, was one of the first big incidences in my life that said, you know, we can accomplish whatever we put our mind to. It doesn't matter what's in front of us. It doesn't matter how high it seems, how difficult it is. We will overcome it if you have the will to do it. I go on with other stories of fun teammates and friends, and then even today I see George Tangalagas is here. Heather, is compliance in the room? Okay. George used to run a drinking establishment over there at Theo's, and we had so many good memories. I used to bounce for him. Of course, this is off the season. And the good times we would have, and then, of course, the next day we were a little crunchy, but thanks for coming and supporting us. He's been doing it for forever. Some of the other experiences that I had that really influenced the direction of my life, playing for Old Green and White. My senior year, when we earned a winning season of 6-5, you go, 6-5, that's not all that great, but when I started, there was some baggage, man, some serious baggage. We had the longest losing streak. We had other issues. but the joy of helping to be part of the foundation to build that and overcome those obstacles. Watching the students come down when we broke the losing streak and tear down the goalposts, and seeing the crowds come back as we started to win. And then by senior our last game, if we would have won it, we'd have been tied for the MAC championship. Again, it just kind of said, it doesn't matter what's in front of you, it doesn't matter what life throws at you, you will always overcome it if you believe it. And that's what I've implied in my life and try to live every day. One of the things that in that last game against Miami of Ohio, as most any athlete knows, doesn't matter high school or college, there comes a point when, at the end of the game, there was about a minute and a half and we realized we're not going to win, right? And it was the last game, so the seniors are crying, hugging each other. When that final tick came off, there's no game film to go over, there's no practice, there's no what are we going to do for next year? That finality of it being over, there's just a huge emotional wave of sadness, of what's my direction. For me, for 5 years, all I've been doing is trying to get good grades and win football games and make myself better for the team. But now that's over. So what are we going to do? It just gave me, I really learned it more later on in life, is that life is short. And live life with passion and share that passion with others. One of the other proudest honors of being able was to play with my brother. You saw him up there. Craig, on the same team. He had more people knocking on his door to play, and he wanted to play with his big brother. It meant the world to me. Let me share some things now. He played defensive tackle and nose guard, and me being a center, we banged heads quite a few during practice. So we were getting towards the end of the season, and I beat him up pretty good. I'd help him up, but I always beat him up pretty good. It was a Thursday, and I swear the coach said, let's go half speed, right? Half speed. But anyhow, I snapped the ball, he's going full go, he goes by me, sacks the quarterback. 32 years later, I can't get rid of it, right? That's what he keeps talking about. Another issue another moment that they said was monumental for me was seeing Jim, Brian, Craig, Ron Adams win that California Bowl. I just beamed with pride to see you guys actually cross the line, showing the country Eastern Michigan had an unbelievable football program, high character people, good school. Also at Eastern, I learned work ethic, determination, teamwork. It all helped me prepare to play in the NFL, and I truly carry that as a badge of honor with those teams. I enjoyed that. But what Eastern helped me do was really set the foundation of how I would live my life. You know, preparing for the ceremony, I asked myself, how did I get to this place in my life where I have the privilege to be inducted with these types of people into Eastern's Hall of Fame? So I was trying to think of how can I be profound, with something good that I could come up with to say to you guys that really motivated me. And I got nothing. No. All kidding aside, I truly can say I have been so blessed with not only the people, my family, my friends, the program, the coaches. Very blessed. To have friends like Jeff, Keith, Smitty, Brian, Kevin, Jim, and so many others, they helped me want to be better than I thought I could be. My beloved wife, best friend, Lisa, I love you. To my two children, Courtney and Justin, I am so proud to be your father. I'm so proud of you. I try and lead by example, reflecting God's qualities through all my daily actions. I don't really mean to get religious or kind of lovey-dovey there, but this feeling of gratitude is so enjoyable to share with you guys. I'm just, it's awesome. Ed, the Block E, that we're so love to wear and proud of. My very good friend and Eastern alum, Keith Stone, he's standing here right next to me as well. You might not see him because since birth he's actually been vertically challenged. But he has the biggest heart and he's the most generous man that I've ever met. When we began the E-Gridiron Group, it gave us both the opportunity to give back to Eastern Michigan. And we were so proud to do it together. As I mentioned when I started tonight, I am truly humbled and honored to be included with these outstanding individuals in this institution. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations, Brett. Wonder if we can find some space in the Hall of Fame for that Mohawk as well. That deserves a spot, I think. It's time now for the official induction. Here to present Boaz Chiboyu is his EMU coach, John Goodridge. Boaz, please come to the stage to accept your Hall of Fame plaque. Here to present Kathy Hart is her former player and also former Hall of Fame recipient, Lori Bird. Here to present Fred LaPlante is his teammate and friend, Gary Collins. Here to present Tom Michael is his sister, Tracy Stiles, pardon me. Here to present Lorenzo Neely is his friend, Derek McDowell. And here to present Allison Newman is her EMU coach, Steve Wills. And here to present Brett Petersmark is his teammate and friend, Brian Klaus. And now, the final step is the Hall of Fame decree. Eastern, sacred alma mater, to your name we shall be true. Ever marching on a victory, we'll stand by to see you through. Softly floating on the breeze, verdant green with snow of white, this our banner we will carry in our heart where'er we go. To those of exemplary calling, these awards for performances of excellence, honor, and skill, congratulations. You are now officially Hall of Fame members. Let's have a round of applause for the class of 2014. I would like to thank everyone tonight for being here to witness this moment in Eastern Michigan history. We are all excited to have these 7 new inductees into the Hall of Fame family. This concludes our night and our ceremony. Thank you so much for attending. Drive safely, have a great night, and go green.